But I'm Mike Wilbon. Tony Halle Berry just got a huge tattoo along her spine.
I'm Tony Kornheiser. I have one too, but you can't see it unless I take off my Spanx.
Then let's not see it.
Okay.
Let's leave those Spanx on.
It's fine.
Is that a real item, Halle Berry getting a huge tattoo? Why is that news? Everybody's got a tattoo now except you.
And you. Yeah, and you. Yeah, and you.
I didn't
Did you ever meet Halle Berry?
Yeah.
Met her a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
Tiny.
I'm
like, didn't weigh.
That's not my first impression.
Thin.
Beautiful is my
but
first
like
impression.
Very, very thin.
What you'd expect her to be like?
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Warriors are wobbling. Duke survives Wake, and Charlie Casserly goes in on Kyler Murray.
Killed him.
But we begin today with the Boston Celtics awakening from the dead and beating the Golden State Warriors at Golden State by 33 points.
Beat down.
33 points. The usually miserable Kyrie Irving was almost giddy after 19 points and 11 assists, and after watching teammate Gordon Hayward getting 30 points on 12 of 16 shooting. Wilbon, is this a turning point for the Celtics?
Not necessarily. I mean, it's a great game for the Celtics, but the problem hasn't been the Celtics' inability to produce a great game now and then. The problem has been sustaining that. And you look at this and you wonder, is it sustainable? Right. If Gordon Hayward is going to be 70% of what he was last night, it's likely sustainable. So, because you know everybody on their team, there's enough talent, there's enough understanding, there's enough good coaching. They have everything, Tony, and that's why this is so mystifying. But I'm not going to say it's a turning point. The Celtics have to do this 3 or 4 more times in the next 5 games.
So what if they went to Sacramento tonight and lost? Then what would you say tomorrow?
Nothing.
What would you say?
It was a good game.
All right, so you wouldn't say it was a turning point?
I'm not saying it's a turning point now.
Right. So what I was interested in is Kyrie Irving was quoted as saying that the long plane ride from Boston to San Francisco was very helpful. I assume that the team bonded. Let me just suggest this to you. If getting on a plane and going around for 4 hours is good, then when they're home, just circle Logan for 4 hours. Let the team just sit there and talk to one another if that's what's going to
Tony,
work.
they're looking for stuff. I don't blame Kyrie for that. They're looking for answers. And anytime you're looking for answers to anything like this, personally or professionally, you're reaching a little bit. It's okay. But this has to be done on the court, not on a plane.
I'm going to give you a statistic which you're going to find interesting because I found it interesting. When Gordon Hayward shoots 50% or better, they are 18-2. When he doesn't, they are 17-22. He got a max contract.
Yeah.
He didn't start.
No.
Like you,
but they need him.
You got to feed him.
They need him.
You got to make sure that he scores a lot of points because that looks like when he's out there scoring, they're good, shooting
it's
well.
Not about scoring.
Shooting
he's efficient. When he has a level of efficiency that he has been unable to sustain.
He was an all-star.
Okay, well, he's coming back from a horrific injury.
Right.
And it took more time than maybe anybody thought. So that's just part of it. Gordon Hayward could go out there and go 9 of 12 against Sacramento, and they could still lose to him.
Well, statistically, it says they won't. Yesterday, we talked about who's a better bet in the playoffs, the Celtics or the Rockets. I will say this, that if the Celtics play like this, I believe they're the best team in the East.
Right.
I don't care what the Rockets do. I'll never believe they're the best team.
Hold on now, Sparky.
Go ahead.
Let's look at the flip side of last night, meaning the Warriors suffering an unbelievable 33-point home court loss, the team's worst in almost 10 years. And it's not a one-off, Tony. The Dubs are 3-5 in their last 8, including losses to teams like Orlando and Miami that may not even make the playoffs. So does this recent stretch of play that is somewhere between uninspired and downright bad give you any pause regarding the champs?
Okay, so I love the Golden State Warriors. I think when they are healthy, they are by far the best team in basketball. I think they should have won 4 in a row. That's what I think. And even I look at this lately, and it does give me a little bit of pause. And there's a lot of different things I wonder about, mostly having to do with Boogie Cousins and how he fits in and basically their general attitude. Now Klay Thompson didn't play.
Klay Thompson, but being injured matters.
They don't look like they're into it.
Yeah. Look, I watched every possession of that game last night, Tony, and it was interesting before the game where Shaq was talking about this on players only, of course, you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
And Shaq said they're bored. let's get this straight. They're bored. They're going to be bored. When time comes to flip the switch, they'll flip it. Now, I agree completely with the first half of Shaq's assessment. They're bored.
But you don't think they can flip it?
I don't know, Tony, because the West is so deep. It's not like there's so many great teams in the West, but the Houston Rockets going to Toronto last night and beating Toronto, Tony, Houston has figured out something, and they are the team that has already been in the ring for the first fight, though they lost it narrowly to Golden State. But they're not afraid of going back in the ring.
You know,
you're dismissive of Houston.
Yes.
You need to watch them a little bit more.
I am dismissive of Houston in the playoffs. We haven't gotten to the playoffs yet. That is their history I am dismissive of. Last night, Boston had 50 uncontested shots.
Yeah. What do we think of that?
So
of that lack of defensive effort.
Here's what I wonder about, and I guess I'd like to talk to Steve Kerr under actual truth serum, because I think Steve's really a smart guy. Is he, in fact, worried?
Well,
because they have the ability to turn it on. I don't know. I wonder about Boogie Cousins. He's like a second away from getting into a fight all the time that I watch him play. I wonder about, not that they are overconfident, no, that they are too confident, that because of their history of winning championships, they just don't believe that anyone can.
Well, they don't believe it, and they shouldn't, and particularly when Klay Thompson's out there, and he wasn't last night.
No, and that matters.
But
it matters. But West, even I.
You're not. You look at the rest of the West, you just go,
Well, you thought the West would be so much better because of the Lakers, but where are the Lakers? Hello, they're out of it.
The Lakers, are they in?
Duke struggled to beat Wake Forest last night, a team they should have beaten at home by 25 points. They beat by 1.
Luckily.
And only because the game-winning shot did not go down for Wake. Zion Williamson again didn't play and likely will not play against North Carolina on Saturday. But Mike Krzyzewski is confident that Williamson will be ready for the ACC tournament and the NCAAs. Wilbon, do you expect Duke to simply turn it on when Zion returns?
No. In certain cases, pros can turn it on. We just talked about this. Golden State can. They can. The Patriots can. They usually do it every year. At some point, after losing 2 out of 3, we go, oh, what's going to happen? They turn it on.
Right.
Okay, so pros can do this. College teams cannot. And Duke has a deficiency, Tony, and it could be a fatal deficiency. The shooting of three-pointers, they're often open when Zion Williamson's there, and they still weren't a good three-point shooting team. And now that he's not there, they're a poor three-point shooting team, and I don't believe you can win with that deficiency.
See, so my notes that I take for myself are exactly the opposite of what you just said.
Okay.
I think, unlike in the pros, in college, because the disparity of talent is often so great that one unbelievable player can change everything and change it like this. They are 23-2 when he plays. I believe they lost Syracuse and Gonzaga. Good teams, tournament teams. Gonzaga, a number 1 seed. They destroyed Kentucky. They had some games where they killed people. Zion Williamson, to me, and these are sacred names, okay? He's Michael Jordan. He's David Thompson. Ooh. He's Carmelo Anthony as a freshman at Syracuse.
Okay.
He is somebody.
Right,
he doesn't have to adjust to anybody. They have to adjust to him. And if you tell me he is healthy, I think he makes a world of difference. I think they're a Final Four team if he's on the court.
Tony.
Final Four.
Tony, we have seen at least a couple of the players, Michael Jordan included, swallowed up in NCAA games and not allowed to go free, and their teams go out early. Carmelo didn't because he only played 1 year.
David Thompson.
But David Thompson did get swallowed up. But David Thompson also had the ball, and Zion is dependent on his teammates for that.
Yes.
Tony, also, the game is different.
Spectacular player.
If you don't hit threes, you can't win at any level of basketball anymore.
And what I'm suggesting to you is that you watch so much NBA,
right,
where people shoot so much better than they do in college.
In college, they shoot it now, too.
Not as well. Not as well. No, I'm sorry, not as well.
You're convinced Duke's going to win as soon as Zion walks out there.
I am.
I'm not. I want to see him out there because it's fun to see him. He's the must-see TV in all the basketball today. We finally got a leftover from the Combine that's worth warming up. Charlie Casserly, who helped put together some pretty darn good teams in his career as a general manager in the NFL, is not towing the party line on Oklahoma wonderkid Kyler Murray. In fact, Casserly said on NFL Network, quote, "These were the worst comments I ever got on a high-ranked quarterback. And I've been doing this a long time. Leadership, not good. Study habits, not good. Board work, below not good. Close quote. Tony, you got to observe Casserly for a great many years when he ran the Redskins right here in Washington.
Yes.
What do you think of him lowering the boom on Murray like this?
I think considerably less of it than most people on TV today, where it was the hottest
going crazy.
Story on
They're
TV.
angry.
I think of it as a tempest in a teapot. No disrespect to Charlie Casserly. I watched him play in college. I thought he was great in college. Two different sports. Thought that this kid had enough talent to draft him in the first round. We are hearing that he's immature. We are hearing Dan Patrick said today that someone told him they jerry-rigged the height. You know, they inflated his height. I think all of this stuff happens because somebody else wants him who doesn't think they're going to get him. Mike, I watched him. I think he can play. I'm worried about him bepeople slight and getting hit, but I think he can play.
I don't even worry about the can he play part. I'm not worried about that. I'm talking about the specifics of Casserly. I heard people trying to light up Charlie Casserly and discredit him. Charlie Casserly is not irresponsible.
No.
Charlie Casserly built a career, which a lot of these other talking head dopes never did, by building teams.
That's right.
We saw it. He took over for Hall of Famer Bobby Beathard. Was he as good as Beathard?
No, but sustained.
But he sustained it.
Yes, he did.
He drafted well enough in Houston that they ultimately, even after he was gone, got into contention off some of the players he drafted. So Casserly is not... He's not some loudmouth dude who takes to Twitter and just says irresponsible things. So the fact that he says these things, it makes me listen. I'm paying attention to
I think you
Casserly.
have to listen. Look, it only takes one team to draft somebody. I think a lot of people are trying to get in the mix on him.
But why are so many people so angry at Casserly? Like he stepped out of line with the Rockettes of the NFL personnel evaluators and had the nerve to say something independent.
I think it is possible, and I don't know how far we want to go on this, I think it is possible that they think these sorts of comments impugn his intellect and his work habits. And they go, why are you doing that with this particular kid? I don't know. To me, he was 42-0 in high school.
Yeah.
In Texas, he won 3 straight championships.
Didn't attack the results.
He went to Oklahoma as a starter for 1 year and won the Heisman.
Yeah. The results say he must be doing something in the classroom somewhere.
Was slandered to some degree.
Yes,
Baker Mayfield, you tried to destroy.
No, I just said I didn't want him.
All right, well.
I didn't try to destroy him.
Let's take a break.
I don't care about
Coming up, will Antonio Brown have a happy new home by the end of the week?
And are LeBron and the Lakers looking at yet another home court loss tonight?
Well, we'll have to see about that.
That was a road loss right there to the Grizzlies.
They're not very good right now.
They're not good. They're not any good.
I thought they'd be a lot better. I'm a dope.
You had 50.
I did. I'm an idiot.
Raise your hand if you also had 50.
I had 50. Yeah. And welcome back to America's last surviving psychic hotline.
Thank God.
Where we peer into the future to bring you answers from the great beyond. I sense the first caller.
Hey guys, this is Anna Glenn. I want to know, do you see Antonio Brown being happy with a new team on Friday?
So the reason we say this is Friday is because Adam Schefter of ESPN is reporting that Pittsburgh will finalize the deal on Friday, though he is not saying with whom. We don't know that. To answer the question, I think Antonio Brown will be very, very happy, a lot happier than the team that actually selects him, because I think Antonio Brown will have a great year, maybe a year and a half. Then he will start complaining. Then he will go on Instagram. Then he will say who he wants to play with next. I think that's how it's going to work.
Let me go back to the asking of the question. Do you see Antonio Brown being happy with his new team on Friday? On Friday, yes, he'll be happy with his new team.
Right.
By Monday or Tuesday,
maybe not.
He'll be unhappy. He'll be tweeting. He'll be saying something annoying and perhaps even stupid about a teammate that he barely knows or never even met. So this is what he'll do. He might be great. He's usually great.
He's great. Production is great.
Happy is another set of circumstances.
Hope he ends up with a great quarterback. It makes a difference.
What difference does it make to him?
Here we go.
Hey, it's Chris. Tell me if you see the Lakers losing again tonight.
So my initial reaction is the Lakers are not going to lose. They're playing at home. They're playing against a team, Denver, that was good, but Denver's 0-3 lately and 5-6 lately. And I don't think LeBron wants to be as embarrassed as he has been. But Kyle Kuzma is not playing.
Yeah.
Who else is not
Chandler,
playing?
not
Tyson
playing.
Chandler is not playing.
Ingram's a questionable.
Ingram and Stevenson are both
Game
questionable.
timers.
And you know what, Mike?
What?
Jerry West and Kobe Bryant not walking through that door. Magic Johnson is walking through that door, but in a suit.
Very nice
in a
suit.
So they're going down.
Yeah, they're going down.
Yeah.
I mean, Denver, I know Denver's struggling, but the Lakers are now America's homecoming team.
Yeah.
The Lakers are where you go when you need to get well. Golden State's losing. The Nuggets have not lost contact with Golden State for the top seed in the West, as ordinary as Denver has been lately.
Well, since Golden State has been
That's right.
3-6.
So they're looking at the Lakers as their get well.
Right.
The Lakers are their tonic. And with those guys out, it's hard to
agree
see,
with that.
man.
Next.
Hey, this is Hampton. Do you guys see Luis Severino's injury being a problem for the Yankees?
Okay, so Severino is the number one starter. He throws a ball the other day and he feels pain in the shoulder. Those of us familiar with the Washington Nationals know that what this means is Steven Strasburg is going on the DL again. Severino, they got hitting, but they're thin in pitching. And Severino,
They just got thinner, too, with the news about Sabathia.
Sabathia is going to be out for a couple of weeks. Severino's second half last year, August and September, a 6.23 ERA, a 3.23 batting average against. So what I'm going to say to you is if Severino was not 100%, that is a big-time problem for the Yankees.
Of course it's a big-time problem. And again, coupled with Sabathia. Look, the Yankees went out there and they got all kinds of dazzling people to close and to also set up.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about just the pitching. And yes, they have this great historic offense, and they have the back end of a pitching staff, the back end of a bullpen. But if nobody can get you 6 innings, what are they going to have? Bullpen day starting in April?
Does anybody want Dallas Keuchel, who won the Cy Young like 3 years ago? Does anybody want this
Tony?
guy?
That's going to be the Yankees.
Next.
Hey, Tony and Mike. Fortune Teller is my favorite segment. I want to know, do you see baseball fining Bryce Harper for his comments about Mike Trout?
They're, of course, going to fine him. He just signed a 13-year deal for $330 million, so the amount of the fine is absolutely meaningless. Harper said yesterday he wanted Trout to come play, and today, and let me get the quote exact, he said, quote, I wouldn't have said that if I didn't mean it. He's going
doubling down is going to bring the fine
He's
down.
going to get fined. My point yesterday is the same as my point today. Mike Trout doesn't need Bryce Harper to recruit him. Mike Trout's better than everybody. Mike Trout's going to go to Philadelphia.
Every athlete likes to be loved.
Yeah.
Now, I think what's going to happen is baseball's going to wait. Even though Bryce Harper doubled down and essentially did the follow-up today, I think they'll just wait until he sort of casually tries this again, and then they'll hit him with the big fine. By the way, did you hear the caller say that
this is the favorite
I know
episode.
who that was.
Who?
Dionne Warwick.
Is that right?
Yeah.
She's back.
I'm convinced that's Dionne Warwick.
That is so wonderful.
You know, isn't that
That's
good? That'd be
wonderful.
good for us,
That'd make me
wouldn't it?
very happy.
Yeah.
Phone lines are closed.
Sorry, Dionne.
But in our future, I sense us discussing the disappearance of Joel Embiid.
Kansas, their huge, long, forever streak is over, Tony. Does the tournament look any more promising for the Jayhawks?
What happened to Embiid?
I don't know.
Really?
Disappeared.
One of us is supposed to know.
Hard for a 7'1" dude
to disappear.
Yeah.
One of us better know by the
The teams to watch that could acquire Antonio Brown in the next 48 hours, plus how Kyler Murray affects the market for Josh Rosen, and Stephen A. Smith's take on the moment the Lakers season was lost. SportsCenter 6 Eastern with Sage Steele after PTI.
Happy time, people. Happy 80th birthday, Cookie Rojas. Known primarily as an all-star second baseman for both Kansas City and the Phillies. When he was in Philadelphia and Bobby Wine was the shortstop, they were known as the Days of Wine and Rojas in reference to the Jack Lemmon 1960s movie and hit song, Days of Wine and Roses.
Old now.
Rojas has one son who's an announcer for the Angels and another who's a minor league manager.
And Cookie was one of those players, Tony. He seemed like he was around forever. He was on good teams. He was clutch, but not a Hall of Famer. You know, just
but
sort
a
of not in that
lifetime in the
group,
game.
but a hell of a
And to
player
his kids,
for a long
lifetime.
time.
Happy anniversary, Mike Tyson. On this day 34 years ago, an 18-year-old Mike Tyson made his professional boxing debut in Albany, New York. His opponent was Hector Mercedes, who should have stayed in the car. Mercedes did not get out of the first round as Tyson, always going forward, hit him with a barrage of body shots that dropped Mercedes to one knee and made a technical knockout an easy call.
It is our misfortune, all of us, that there is no one in sports today like Mike Tyson. Who was more electric than Mike Tyson to you?
To me, no one.
Right.
To me,
Right.
absolutely
Me too.
no one.
Nobody.
Happy trails to Kansas's 15th straight Big 12 title. With last night's loss to Oklahoma, Kansas has been mathematically eliminated from the Big 12 race with 1 game to go. This was an amazing streak. Over that period of time, Oklahoma, Texas, West Virginia, Texas Tech, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, Baylor, and Kansas State have all had good teams. Kansas beat them all. Scott Drew of Baylor said as an epitaph, quote, "You have transfers, guys going to the NBA, injuries, and they've been able to win 14 in a row with that happening. That's a streak in the Power 5 that will never be broken."
And Tony, this year, their absences, Azubuike, Legero Vic, Silvio De Souza, I mean, it's not like Bill Self has had a full complement out there, and yet they were threatening to win it again.
The longevity of that is stunning.
Be applauded.
Let's go to the big finish.
Let's do it.
The Ravens cut Pro Bowl safety Eric Weddle. Is that a mistake?
Tony, he's 34. Maybe he's a good player for a long time, but you can't be surprised when anybody's get cut.
Nobody's a
in the
Pro
NFL,
Bowl
right?
player.
They cut Pro Bowlers all the time. What are you? Royals catcher Salvador Perez needs Tommy John. Going to miss the season. That's a big loss for the Royals.
That's a very big loss. He is a 6-time All-Star. That may be the most important position on a team. Come on. Andy Murray says he is pain-free post-hip surgery, but he's still unlikely to play at Wimbledon. Your thoughts?
Unlikely to play Wimbledon, but could play again. He didn't know if he'd be able to before the surgery. Could be really good news. The Cavaliers have won 5 of 6 since K-Love returned. You like him to beat the Nets in Brooklyn?
No, I don't. My best prediction this year was before the season started. I said Cleveland was a 25-win team that would fire their coach. Boom.
Why you hating on my man Ty
I was
Lue?
wrong on the Lakers. Last one. Joel Embiid is out for the 7th straight game tonight. Is that cause for concern?
Maybe not yet. They're 4-2 in those 6 with losses only to Portland and the Warriors, but you want to see him beat back fairly soon.
We're out of time. We'll try and do better
Time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get the PTI podcast on the ESPN app or Apple Podcast.
Apropos of our candy discussion yesterday, I also like Reese's